This is another video update of my 10 koi that I've been keeping in a 50-gallon aquarium now for well over almost 2 years. The growth rate has slowed tremendously. They don't seem to be deformed at all. They're very happy, active fish. Well, as happy as a fish can be. I try to feed them a little bit of food, enough for each one of them to eat. Quite a bit. Every time I walk by the tank, they come up and start begging for food. A little bit like they're doing right now. Their colors seem to be really nice, and I just love their long flowing fins and how attentive they are to me. And a few of them are like my favorite. They don't have long flowing fins, but I like their personalities. As much as a fish could have a personality, but these guys are almost like old friends of mine now. I've had them for so long. Not a single one of them has gotten sick and died. I've got one in here that, actually two now, that like to eat gravel after I feed the fish. Right now you can see that none of them are heavy and none of them sink down to the bottom, but this is just a peculiar thing that they do. They swim back and forth begging for food. I'll give them a little bit right now. One spoonful. That's about how much I give them of the pelleted food. I'll go into a little bit of a feeding frenzy. They act like a heron or something is chasing them. Oh, there's one of the gravel eaters. He's thinking there might be gravel or shrimp pellets in the bottom. The other fella hasn't started eating. Oh, there he goes, right down to the bottom, grabbing some gravel. He'll eat so much gravel that he'll actually become heavier than the water, and he'll sink down to the bottom. So far, I think he's just got one piece of sand gravel in his belly. But he'll eventually just go down and get some more gravel. I don't know if it helps them digest the food that they eat. They like to use it to grind up the hard pelleted food before it gets soft. But look at that. He sort of made me a liar. He's going up. There's one more piece of, there's 3 more pieces of food. Yeah, he looks heavy right now, doesn't he? There he goes. Just tail heavy. Anyway, this is a study in keeping koi in way too many koi in a 50-gallon aquarium, and so far it's just been phenomenal. I do use under gravel filter system. You can see here that there is at least 2 inches of gravel at the bottom of the aquarium, and underneath that is a filter plate, and then the air tubes that are just covered with algae bring water down through the gravel under the filter plate and then up to the top, and the bacteria that live in this 2 inches of gravel is just a huge amount, and it's nitrification bacteria, and the bacteria in this aquarium is crucially important for keeping this number of fish alive and healthy in this size of aquarium. Now, I do partial water changes about once a month, and the fish don't seem to be any the worse for it. Actually, they're used to it. They don't really like to have large partial water changes, but I tend to give them at least 2/3 new fresh water change when I do change it. Well, look at that. I didn't keep my camera on him, but right now it doesn't look like he's got that sand in his belly anymore. He's spit it out already. But he had it in there for a bit. Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing my long-finned koi. Butterfly koi is what they're known as. These are some that I raised. Well, they're survivors. My adult koi in my pond outside spawned in the spawning mats that I provided for them. And these guys here were able to survive in 2019, I believe it was. And so I brought them inside that first year, and all the rest is history. They just keep going and going. I keep enjoying them. So having koi in an inside aquarium, I don't recommend anybody trying this. But what I wanted to see was whether the truth that they keep growing or whether they stop growing according to the size of the water that they're kept in. And so far, it looks like the growth rate slows down tremendously, and they just learn, or their bodies change to adapt to the size of the aquarium that they're in. Because ordinarily, koi that would be 2 years old in an outside pond, if I just put them into this 50-gallon aquarium, there would barely be any room for water. I mean, all of them would be over a foot long, probably more like 14 or 15, 16 inches long. So that they wouldn't even fit in this aquarium. But these guys, since they're just little babies, have been in here, and they're just doing great. Hope you enjoyed seeing my koi this morning. They are one of the most beautiful fish, I think, that's ever been developed through selective breeding by mankind. They're very graceful. The long fins allow them to still maneuver extremely well, and the colors on them are just beautiful. They're not the same as saltwater aquarium fish or saltwater reef fish, but and they're not even on a par with the African cichlids, but they're beautiful in their own way.